All right, I'm Tyler Brinkman, and I'm doing my oral history project for my final project. And what's your name?
I'm Monique Smith.
And how old are you, and where are you from?
I am 38 years old and I am from Arnaville, Louisiana.
Nice. So, in your experience, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected your household?
It has affected it traumatically. My husband, who works in the oil field, was laid off probably 6 weeks into it due to lack of work. He was laid off for months. I would say probably 5 months. He then found another job. Um, Not exactly what he was doing before, but we're fortunate enough for him to have another job and have found something. I myself work in the medical field, and to go to work every day is it's quite an experience. You have to suit up, wash hands constantly protect, disinfect. For a while, we were doing virtual um, appointments. We would have to do not face to face appointments, but actually over a Zoom app or a FaceTime call and try to treat the patients that way, just to protect them from risking their health as to getting in contact with the COVID virus.
So you
It's
would say
also
like, wait, what?
it's also has affected the kids. I have two kids. I had an eighth grader and a fifth grader at the time that had to go virtual, which is a new experience for them.
hmm So you'd say it affected like your social life or like your community, like your health in any way?
It did affect social life. I mean, you were pretty much locked down to, the four people that were living in the household with you. We did quarantine as directed by, the governor, which I found brought our family closer. But I mean, we did, there were boredom times, and we came up with things, but we got through it. We're still going through it.
Yeah, I would agree. So I'm assuming you do have a job. So can you speak to me about your work or like your work experience with closure and reopening?
Right. I do. I work in the medical field. We actually had closed down the office for, I would say, close to 2 months. We would go in, part time and just try to do virtual appointments as much as we could. Those appointments took place over the phone. We would treat the patients over the phone, get what they needed, and try to diagnose them and give them the correct care virtually, as best we could. It's not the same as seeing a person or touching a person or examining a person, live, but we did the best we could as to treating the patient virtually.
hmm So would you say the pandemic impacted your economic security in any way?
Very much. Like I said, my husband did lose his job. Um, uh, I mean, fortunately, that he found something, but it's not equal to what he was making before. But there are plenty of people worse out there. So all we can do is be fortunate. But it did very much infect our life
Mhm.
economically.
Yep. So in the midst of the health crisis and the growing economic crisis, there were like long-term issues of inequality, and it has been a major topic of conversation. So did you happen to like participate in any of the like Black Lives Matter stuff or like the social media aspect of it?
No, I have different opinions or views that not everybody needs to hear. I keep those to myself.
hmm
I choose not to participate. We already living in a world of hate, and I choose to keep my opinions to myself.
Yep. So, and also, did you educate yourself on like the history behind police violence or something like that?
I did. I have friends that are in the police, police field, and um, that's a job that I wouldn't want. I mean, they go out there to protect us, and they're standing up for their lives and our lives, and have to go through a whole bunch of scrutiny in the meantime. It's It is what it is, I guess, in this world of 2020.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not very fun.
No.
Nothing's fun. Because I did a report on like the police violence for English, and it was just like how the not really they're like racist or whatever, but like everything that happens to like a black person is highlighted over the news, and like
Right.
they don't see the good things they do for like the people, so they just want to make them look bad, which is what I
Right.
found from it.
Right.
And
They're
then
there to serve and protect.
yeah. So have you done any reading or listening to any reports on why the black community is like dying faster from the COVID virus than the white community? If so, like what did
Um,
you learn, or like has it inspired you in any way, or like
I just think that due to the time off, everybody has more time to do everything. Research or viewing and looking at things that we didn't look into in the past. I just, you know, I do understand their inequality or they feel the inequality, but there's stuff going on around the world everywhere, and um, you know, all we can do is hope for the best for everything.
yeah, I agree. Because they're just I think it also has something to do with like the protests that are going on. Like it's not only black people, but like they're just getting in like big groups, and you can't avoid touching other people in protests. So like it's just getting worse for them.
Right.
And then also, what do you like think this movement means to this moment? Or like what has it the intersection of COVID and Black Lives Matter movement revealed to us that like about the scientific expertise in the country?
Um, I just think that we're going through a time with COVID that is just so unknown, to the world now. I feel like we did the best we could for what was known for to help or avoid this disease or virus or whatever. Um, I just, I don't know. I just feel like it's so unknown, and we tried the best we could, and still are trying the best we could. It's just something that I think that this COVID deal is it's going to be around for a while, and we just have to learn how to live with it. But we do still have to live. Um, just protect ourselves and follow all guidelines as much as possible. Um, as for the Black Lives Matter thing, that everybody has their right, and I just feel like if you're going to protest something, protest it quietly. Um,
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be a riot. You can use your words and get what you want across in other ways, not acting out or lashing out or making it into a riot. There is such a thing as quiet protest, and I think that's the best way to get your voice heard.
yeah. There's a more civil way to it than causing violence in the world.
Correct.
So, like pertaining to that, do you have any like worries for the future, like concerns for your community or like even the nation because of everything going on?
Um, I just think that our economy is so blasted from this COVID thing. I don't. It's going to take a miracle pretty much to get it up, but it's an ongoing thing, and this is, I guess, your life. This is what we have to do. We have to fight to get it back to where it was. I just, it's a hard thing. 2020 was a year, but we're Americans. We make things happen, and hopefully we can overcome this.
Yeah, that's true. So, like, if COVID-19 like was a portal or like a transition to like a new world, what would you take from like your pre-pandemic life, and like what do you want to leave behind and like take with you, or like what change would you like to see to bring with you?
Um, pre-pandemic to post-pandemic, I just find that everyone values their everyday going places, going to the store, meeting up with family members, hugging a person that you couldn't see forever. Um, there's people that haven't seen their grandparents or an elderly aunt or an elderly friend for months. There's people dying alone. I just think people need to take away from this post pandemic to take not a minute for granted. Everything is precious and that we should value it all.
Yep, because like it's just like it happened instantly. Like especially being like you said, you had an eighth grader and a fifth grader at the time. So like being that the eighth grader was looking forward to like all the activities they do in middle school, like it just got canceled because like the same thing happened to me being like a senior when it happened. It was just like prom was canceled and like everything, like the little cookouts we have, the
Right. Your life experiences as a
yeah,
senior,
like
that
the
was
senior
taken
skip
away.
days and all that. How
Right.
would you say like it affected your kids school wise? Like especially like your eighth grader going into high school.
Um, they did miss out on a lot. The eighth graders going into high school, there were things that they looked forward to all year, and it was suddenly taken away. Like um, a senior, that's things you look forward to. You go to school all your life for this senior year to enjoy, and to have all these things, and suddenly it's just taken away from this virus. And you try as a mom, and I'm sure your mom tried to make things up for you and tried to make it as special as possible, but sometimes it's just not the same as going out and doing all these things, and you or him or any kid personally experiencing it for themselves. It's
Yeah.
something that is, tragic.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like weird because, like our school said, you're gonna be out for 2 weeks. So, like you didn't expect to tell your friends, I'm not gonna be in school with you ever again. And then like all of a sudden, it was just like we're going virtual for the rest of the year, and then everything just got canceled and shut down, and just like went south. And just did not plan out as we wanted it to for us seniors. Because like prom's supposed to be cool, fun, the cookout, they like do like the announcements and all that stuff, like the senior awards, but they had to put it through a Google slide for us, which is like nothing near the same.
Right.
Yeah, so that's about it for that. And then, so like to conclude, is there anything you would like others to know about the pandemic, or like how has it affected like first year university students or like seniors of 2020, or like your family in general, or other members of your community, like anything you'd like to like tell them to hold on to?
I just think that everybody, like I said, needs to take every minute, every experience they can, and hold it in, because it is special and can be taken away, as we've seen with this COVID. Um, Things as simple as having a graduation party, having, like you said, a cookout with just friends. Those things were taken away, and it's still up in the air as to when it's all going to resume to being normal. I just think that we have to move forward, and maybe what we used to have isn't normal anymore, but what we can do is just make whatever we're allowed to do the new normal, and to have the best experience as possible for it all.
Yeah, especially looking back on like the graduation aspect, like that was just weird because we were supposed to have it like 4 days after we graduated, like we got out of school, but it didn't happen. It ended up happening like almost 2 months later. And it was just weird because we were all like so far away from each other. It was like such a distant graduation. We didn't get to like celebrate together. Like, and then like you wanted to go eat out after, but like you couldn't because everywhere's closed, and it's just like not the same atmosphere. Like I just feel like it affected so many people, especially like being quarantined and stuff. Like, did your family get affected by that? Like, did anyone get sick? You have to like stay home, quarantine. Like, how was that experience? Was it like, would you say it's like depressing, or was it like, did you cause anger, like just because you're by yourself all the time?
Um, yeah, I mean, being stuck in a house with the same four people, the walls start closing in on you. That's with anything. I mean, you're stuck in a place stagnant for so long. It does. It makes you angry. It makes you just angry at what as the reason. You're asking why, and you can't have a reason as to why. Nobody has an answer. Um, it just, it wasn't fun. Fortunately, knock on wood, because it's still happening, but none of us have gotten diagnosed with it yet. That's not to say we haven't come into contact or just been asymptomatic and just not have anything, but we haven't been diagnosed with it. And hopefully I'll just keep going about the life the same way we have, and hopefully none of us will get diagnosed. And if we do, it's something that we can recover from, because I feel that this is something that it's mutating. This disease or virus is mutating, and you know maybe one day it'll just be like the flu and all we need is a vaccine. So all we can do is keep working towards a goal, and hopefully something gets resolved and figured out so we can go back to our normal life.
Yeah. Well, that's about all I have. So thank you on the behalf of the Gilbo Center for Public History, Department of History, and University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.